We shouldn't have come here. Everyone in town knew about the Devil's Rock. They said it was cursed ground, a place you stayed away from after dark. I thought it was just a story, something the old folks used to keep kids from sneaking off into the woods at night. Turns out it wasn't just a story. We'd been driving for hours, trying to make it to the highway before midnight when the car started to overheat. Evan said we should cut through the back roads, maybe find a stream or a farmhouse with water. That's when I saw it. The ridge, dark, jagged, standing out against the sky. Locals called it the Devil's Rock. At first it just looked like any other cliff, but the closer we got, the more wrong it felt. The air got heavy, thicker, like we'd stepped into a room with no windows, no birds, no insects, not even the sound of wind through the trees. Just this silence, a silence that pressed against your ears until it felt like your head might burst. Halfway up the ridge, Evan froze. He swore he saw someone standing at the top of the cliff. A figure, long arms, too long, watching us. I didn't see it, but the way he looked at me, pale, shaking, I didn't need to. When he blinked, it was gone. By the time we reached the plateau, the sky had shifted. It wasn't night anymore. It wasn't morning either. It was something in between. A gray light that stretched across the stone like fog, making shadows where there shouldn't be shadows. That's when the boy noticed the carvings. We hadn't even seen him at first. He was just sitting there on the far side of the plateau. Clothes torn, face pale, like he'd been waiting for us. He didn't speak right away. He just pointed at the ground. Names, hundreds of them, etched into the stone. Some were so old they had been worn smooth, impossible to read. Others looked fresh, like they had only been scratched hours ago. The boy whispered one name, his hand trembling. His brothers. He said the rock had taken him. Evan laughed nervously, tried to brush it off. Said maybe it was just a memorial. But the boy shook his head. Said his brother was still here, that he could hear him. And then it started. The ground trembled beneath us. Slow at first, then stronger, like something was moving below. Evan grabbed my arm, said we needed to go, but the boy dropped to his knees, pressed his hands against the carvings. He begged the rock to give him back, begged it like it could hear him. Before I could pull him away, the stone split open. A crack tore across the plateau, and from it came a hand, black, twisted, not flesh, not bone, something else. It wrapped around the boy's leg and pulled. His scream, it didn't echo. It didn't even sound right. It just stopped, like the rock swallowed it whole. Evan and I stumbled back, but the ground sealed over again, like it had never happened. The boy was gone. Evan told me not to move, not to breathe, said maybe if we stayed perfectly still, it wouldn't notice us. But I could see the truth in his eyes. He knew what I knew. The Devil's Rock wasn't just a place, it was alive, and it was hungry. We sat there for hours, afraid to leave, afraid to stay. Evan kept his eyes on the carvings, and I kept mine on the horizon, praying for the sun. But the light never changed. It stayed gray, unmoving, like time itself had stopped. That's when I saw it. My name etched into the stone, fresh, waiting, and Evan's was right beside it. I wanted to tell him. I wanted to point it out, to show him what I saw carved there on the stone. But the words wouldn't come. My throat was dry, my chest tight, and some part of me knew. The moment I said it out loud, it would become real. Evan noticed anyway. His eyes followed mine, down to the rock. He froze. And for the first time since I'd known him, he didn't try to hide how scared he was. He whispered, barely audible, "That's my name." I nodded. He didn't ask about mine. He didn't have to. We tried to leave. We tried, really tried. But no matter which way we walked, the ridge didn't end. We went left until our legs burned, then right until the horizon blurred. But every time we circled back to the same plateau, the same carving staring back at us. Evan said maybe it was a trick, some kind of magnetic field, some natural phenomenon. But I could hear it in his voice. He didn't believe that. Neither did I. We stopped to rest, sitting with our backs against the rock. That was a mistake. The stone was warm, almost pulsing, like a heartbeat. And when I closed my eyes, I swore I could hear whispers. Not words exactly, just voices. Hundreds of them, layered over one another, screaming and begging beneath the surface. Evan shook me awake when I must have drifted. Said I'd been mumbling. Said I'd been calling his name. But the way he looked at me, I think he was lying. I don't think it was his name I'd been saying. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time doesn't move here, not the way it should. The sky never changed, the gray never lifted. At one point, Evan threw a rock toward the ridgeline just to break the silence. It never landed. It just vanished into the fog. That's when we heard it again. The low rumble, the splitting of stone. Evan panicked. He ran. I begged him not to, but he sprinted toward the edge of the plateau like he could somehow outrun it. I didn't follow. I couldn't. I don't know what I saw at the ridgeline. Only that Evan never came back. It's been quiet since then. No tremors, no shadows. Just me, sitting here. And the names. I should feel lucky, I guess. It could have been me. But every time I look down, I see the letters still forming. Deeper, darker. My name being carved into the Devil's Rock, stroke by stroke. It's waiting for me. I know that now.